Do not visit the Christmas markets without watching this video first, because the tips I'm sharing today will save you time, money, and stress, and ensure that you have the most magical time ever at the Christmas markets. Make sure you watch to the end so that you don't make one of these common mistakes at the Christmas markets. If you're new here, hi, I'm Brenda from Bon Voyage Brenda, my channel where I make videos about travel to help you travel better. If that sounds like something you're interested in, make sure that you subscribe so you never miss a new video. And if you find this video helpful, please hit the like button because it really helps my channel. All right, let's dive in. Here are the 10 biggest Christmas market mistakes you need to avoid to make sure that your trip is magical from start to finish. The first mistake is not checking for opening dates of the markets. This is a mistake I have personally made and got the opening date wrong and ended up showing up in Prague 3 days before their market opened. Each city and even each market has a different opening date, and these can vary really widely. Some markets open as early as the first weekend in November, and some don't open till the first or second weekend in December. If you're looking for information, make sure that you're checking the official sites for each city and each market, because there's a lot of incorrect information out there because the dates are tied to Advent usually, and that changes every year. And once you know the opening dates, then start planning your itinerary. The second mistake to avoid is assuming that markets are open every day of the week. There are going to be holidays that fall during the Advent season occasionally, or some smaller markets might not be open on a Monday or a Wednesday. You can check for this information on the official website, just like the opening dates, and also make sure that you check the opening times of each market, because each market is going to be open at different times every day. So look for the opening time and the closing time so that you don't miss out on any of the fun. Mistake number 3 is only visiting the biggest, most popular markets. Each city is going to have one main market that's going to be the big draw for tourists and locals alike, but aside from this big market, there are also going to be smaller markets spread throughout the city. Sometimes these smaller markets are going to have fewer tourists and even fewer local people, making it more enjoyable to walk around and explore. Also, don't forget to explore outside the main cities. Sometimes the best markets are a half-hour or hour train ride away, like when I visited Strasbourg and took day trips out to Obernai and Colmar. Sometimes the market crowds can be really stressful, so adding in some of the smaller, less crowded markets can really make your time more enjoyable. Mistake number 4 is only visiting during the evening. The evening time is going to be the most crowded time at the markets because locals also love going to the Christmas markets, and when they get off work at the end of the day, they head over to the markets to have some glühwein and food with their friends, and this makes the crowds pretty big. If you want to do some shopping or just experience the markets with smaller crowds, make sure that you're also visiting during the day. Go during the day, look at the booths, buy your souvenirs, and then come back in the evening to enjoy some glühwein, food, and the more crowded, lively atmosphere. But also, don't only visit during the day, because even though the evenings are crowded, it's when all the lights come on and everything just feels so much more magical, and you don't want to miss that. Mistake number 5 is to not bring both cash and cards with you to the markets. In the larger cities, most of the stalls are going to take both. Some of them are only going to take card, and then in the smaller markets, there are still stalls that are only going to take cash. You don't want to end up really wanting something and then not having the means to pay for it, or having to rush around and end up paying a large ATM fee to take cash out because you really want to try a food or buy a souvenir. So it's a great idea to carry both cash and cards with you to all of the markets, because you never know if one's not going to be accepted. Mistake number 6 is not dressing in layers. Yes, it's going to be cold outside of the market, but you're actually not going to be spending all of your time outside. You're going to be in and out of shops, restaurants, and on and off public transportation. And in Europe, everywhere that's indoors, they have the heat cranked up. If you don't have a layer that you can shed, you're going to be hot and miserable, and it's going to make for a really bad time. So it's really important to have layers, like a base layer, a sweater, and then a coat, so that you can easily take off the coat when you're indoors, and possibly even the sweater having that base layer or a t-shirt underneath so that you're more comfortable indoors. And then when you head back out into the markets, you can put that layer back on so that you stay toasty and warm. Also, don't forget about hats, scarves, and gloves to keep all of your exposed areas warm because it can get really cold outside. Mistake number 7 is not trying the regional specialties. There is so much delicious food to experience at the Christmas markets, and it's really fun to try different local specialties. Yes, there's going to be sausage or bratwurst and mulled wine at every market, and those are delicious and fun to try also, but don't forget to seek out some of the more regional specialties like chimney cakes in Prague or langos in Budapest. It's really fun to try all the different things and get a full range of culinary experience. But don't worry, you can eat the sausages too. Mistake number 8 is not bringing hand sanitizer, sanitizing wipes, and possibly some napkins or paper towels with you. When you're eating and drinking at the market, oftentimes they're not going to give you a napkin, and you might have dirty hands from walking around, touching things on public transportation, and there's not going to be a place to wash your hands. So having sanitizer is really going to keep you from getting sick when you're eating because a lot of the food is finger food and you're going to be touching it with your hands. And then also, it can be really messy, so you're gonna want some napkins or paper towels to wipe everything up with. Mistake number 9 is forgetting about the deposit on food and drinks. When you're eating and drinking at the market, oftentimes, in addition to the price of the food, there's going to be a deposit on either the mug or plate and utensils that your food and drink are being served in. This is usually located somewhere near the bottom of the menu, and it'll tell you how much it is. This just ensures that your mug or plate and fork are going to be returned, and then that deposit will be returned to you. However, with the mugs, you have a choice. Because all the mugs at the markets are different, a lot of people, myself included, like to collect them. So instead of returning your mug for the deposit, you can just let them keep your €4 or €5, and then you get to keep your little Christmas mug. Don't forget to leave room in your suitcase for all the mugs and souvenirs that you collect. And finally, mistake number 10 is not allowing enough time to explore. I have done some whirlwind Christmas trips only allowing 1 day per city, but usually these are cities I have visited before. The Christmas markets are fantastic and one of my most favorite things to do in Europe, but they're also located in really amazing cities with sites that you may want to see outside the market. So it's a great idea to leave some extra time for exploring the city. Also, each city has more than one Christmas market. You don't want to have to rush through to see all the different markets, so make sure that you see how many markets there are and how many you want to visit so that you allow enough time to see all of them without feeling rushed. And that's it. Those are my 10 mistakes to avoid when visiting the Christmas markets. If you follow these tips, your trip is going to be far more enjoyable and far less stressful. If you want more Christmas market content, make sure that you head over to my page and check out my Christmas market itinerary and more information about the Christmas markets. You can also check out my TikTok, Instagram, and my blog. If you found this video helpful, make sure that you hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a thing. I will see you in the next one.